Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram. Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Om Partaya Pratibodhita Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Graditam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadyayiniim Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshini. Ma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Devyai Stavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopaniषदैः Gayanti Yam Samagah Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam na vidusura suraganah Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha. Hari Om. Bhagavan Sri Krishna said, I taught this wisdom of Bhagavad Gita at the time of creation. And I am teaching the same knowledge, giving the same knowledge now. When Arjuna heard that, he wonders, how is that possible? Therefore, he asks the question, how can you be the same teacher? Sri Krishna answers the question in verses 5 through 8. In these verses, Bhagavan explains, gives the Avatara Siddhanta. We've already seen verses 5, 6, and 7. And in those verses, we discussed the differences between Avatara, the incarnation of God, and Janma, our birth or reincarnation of humans. In the 7th verse, Bhagavan said, Yada yada hi, whenever, dharmasya glanihi, there is a decline in righteousness. And also, adharmasya abhyutanam. There's an increase of adharma. When unrighteousness increases, tada, then aham atmanam srujami. I myself create myself. I take avatara. And today we will see the 8th verse that talks more about the purpose of avatara, incarnation. Very famous verse. All of you probably, most likely, know this verse already. Paritranaya sadhunam, paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkritam, vinashaya cha dushkritam, dharma samstapanartaya, dharma samstapanartaya, Sambhavami yuge yuge. Sambhavami yuge yuge. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Now, how will Bhagavan protect dharma? And how does he destroy adharma? Now, quality, a value, a virtue, etc. These things are very subtle. They're not tangible. It's not something that you can see, touch, and all that. So all those intangible qualities should have a locus. It should reside somewhere. It should be located in a person, in something it should be. Dharmika Purusha Rakshanena Dharmaha Rakshitaha Bhavati. So, when you say, I want to protect Dharma, it can be done only by protecting people who follow Dharma. Not only Dharma and all that, if you want to protect science, what should you do? Just not by printing books on science that you protect science, but you protect, support scientists, their work, their scientific research, teaching science, etc. That is how you protect science. How do you support music, dance, and other fine arts? You give support to those who perform, the musicians and the dancers. Offer them opportunities to learn and perform and excel. So science, arts, etc., they do not exist independently, but they do exist in scientists and artists. In the same way, how would you protect Vedas? You cannot do that just by printing books of Veda. That also you should do, but just by printing and putting it in people's hands or putting it on the shelf, it's not going to do it. But you must protect the Vaidikas who follow Vedas. You must support Veda Patashalas, where the teachers teach young students to learn the Vedas. You must support the Vedic students, you must support the Vedic teachers. In that way, you protect the Vedas. Similarly, dharma can be protected by protecting the dharmic people. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Sri Krishna says here, sadhunam paritranaya. I take avatara to protect the dharmic people, the sadhu people. Similarly, how do you destroy adharma? It is accomplished through adharmika purusha nashena, by destroying those who cause the unrighteous people, the adharmic people. You may recall from the first chapter, even though Duryodhana had a powerful army, he was afraid. He was afraid of the Pandavas because he knew that he was not on the side of Dharma. He knew that he and his army will be destroyed in a Dharma Yuddham, in a righteous war. He will lose. He knew that. The adharmic people can be destroyed in two ways. One way is to convert them from adharma to dharma, leading them away from adharma and turning them toward dharma using non-violent methods. Counsel them, change them, change their evil mind, and make them a noble-minded person. That way, he will get transformed, changed from an adharmika to a dharmika purusha. And that is tantamount to destroying adharma. And Bhagavan tries to do that first. He gives sufficient time and opportunities to change. Ramayana also, even in the last minute, Ravana was losing. He let him go away from the battlefield when he was losing, asked him to sleep on the loss and its consequences. Come back the next day. He did that. Again, Bhagavan also, Sri Krishna also went as a messenger to Duryodhana to negotiate a peaceful deal. When all those efforts failed, then he said, Tasmat yudhyasva bharata. Arjuna, you fight now. Therefore, he says, Dushkritam vinashaya and dharma samstapana arthaya. To re-establish dharma, I come down. Now, a Kshatriya and a Brahmana, they established dharma in different ways. A Kshatriya protects dharma by promoting and patronizing the dharmika people. And if anyone violates dharma, a Kshatriya punishes him. So they do both. The government should promote, patronize all this. When someone goes astray, they will have to punish them also. Kshatriya does that. It's one way of sustaining dharma. A Brahmana cannot promote, cannot support dharmika people. He cannot provide any financial help, nothing. He doesn't have the resources. Kshatriya, the government has resources. They have the taxing authority. They have to support all this. Brahmana doesn't have the resources. In fact, he himself gets supported by others. How can he go and support somebody else? And a Brahmana, he has no right to punish also. A Kshatriya, he can do that. That is his dharma. Someone is adharmic, someone is doing a crime, he has a right to punish. The government has a right to punish. But the Brahmana, no, he cannot. So how does a Brahmana sustain dharma? He cannot support because he doesn't have resources. He cannot punish the dharmic people because that's not in his job description. Mhm. So, how does he protect dharma? He does so by teaching. Really speaking, punishment is not as good a positive reinforcement in bringing about a change. Teaching is a better form of promoting dharma. It's not possible to have a police society and make the citizen comply with law and order. The ultimate protection for dharma is people should have value for dharma. If I value traffic rules, I will follow the rules regardless of whether there is a policeman around or not. So the best method is through teaching. Why should I follow dharma? That I should know. You need a sensitive mind to have good values, to value good qualities. I should know the long-term ill effects of violating dharma. And that one can gain only by teaching. And so Brahmanas can take that role. Actually, Bhagavan has followed both methods of a Kshatriya and a Brahmana to protect dharma when he had taken avatar. Here, for example, Dharmaputra, Yudhishthira, he's a good man. Pandavas, good people. So he was always on their side, protecting the Pandavas. He also taught Gita. That also he did. And of course, he destroyed evil-minded people also. That also he did. So an avatara is considered to be a Purna avatara if sadhu rakshanam, dushta nashanam, and dharma samsthapanam all are accomplished. Rama avatara and Krishna avatara are the two most important of the 10 avatars because they are Purna avatar. So for such purposes, the Lord says, Sambhavami. I take avatar. I incarnate myself. When do I do that? Yuge yuge, in every yuga, I will take avatar. Or to be more precise, every time it is necessary, it is required, I'll be there. Count on me. That's what Bhagavan is saying here. I'll be there when I need to be there. Continuing, he says, Janma karma me devyam. Janma karma me devyam. Evam yo veti tatvatah. Evam yo veti tatvatah. Tyaktva deham punarjanma. Tyaktva deham punarjanma. Naiti mameti sorjuna. naiti mameti sorjuna janma karma me devyam evam yo veti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. Let me read that verse. I was having trouble in the meter because I missed one word, one letter. Janma karma cha me devyam. That word cha I missed, and that was setting me off. Janma karma cha me devyam evam yo veti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. So the previous verse, the introductory part of the chapter is over. The Gita Stuti was done, glorifying Bhagavad Gita. And then the Avatara Swarupa topic is also covered. Now we come back to the main topic, and that is the Moksha Marga, how to attain liberation. Arjuna had asked, he raised the question, Karpanya dosho upahatta swabhavaha pritchami tvam dharma sammuda chetah yat shreyas nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. What is the ultimate good for me? Please tell me that. Very definitively, you please tell me that. So the main topic is, what is the means of liberation? Because that is what is ultimate good for everyone. So in this verse, Bhagavan says, knowing the nature of God leads to liberation. Ishvara Swarupa Jnanat Moksha Siddhihi. God realization. This is an interesting point. We have to note, second chapter, Bhagavan had mentioned, Atma Jnanam is means of liberation. You may remember the verse 55, second chapter, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmani eva atmana tushtaha sthita prajnas tadochate. Self-realization was presented as a means of liberation. Here in this verse, he says, the means is God realization. So which of these two is the liberator? Are they two different things and you can choose one or the other? But in the scriptures emphatically say there is only one path to liberation. So we cannot say there are two parallel paths, alternate paths are there, we cannot say. Therefore, the implication is they both are identical. Self-realization is God realization. God realization is self-realization. That's the point. When you look at the truth of creation from the standpoint of totality, then it is called God. When you look at the truth of creation from the standpoint of the individual, then we use the word self, Atma. Just as the truth or the essence of the wave and that of the ocean, both of them are one and the same. The essence is water, same water. It's in one small individual wave. Same water is there in the mighty ocean as well. Similarly, the truth of the world and the truth of the individual are both one and the same. When you study from the micro angle, the individual angle, it is called self-realization. And when you study from the macro angle, totality, it is called God realization. They're just two different names, but both mean one and the same. So if someone says, I know God, but I don't have self-realization, or some other person says, I have self-realization, but I don't know God, that means both of them have exist. Only when God is known as from me, then alone knowledge is complete. That is the message of Vedanta. Brahmatmaika bodham, Jiva Brahma Aikyam, that identity is the message of all our scriptures. Therefore, Bhagavan says beautifully here, Yaha Veti, he who knows, me Janma, the true nature of my avatara, that is Krishna Sharira, that is not real Krishna. Because the Sharira is subject to arrival and departure. Real Krishna is Ajopisan, Avyayatma, Bhutanam, Ishwaropisan. Birthless, Ajaha, deathless. Whereas this Krishna Sharira, it has come, it is there now, it will go. So the real Krishna is Krishna Paramatma. That Paramatma which is behind that body. We already talked about how the Avatara Sharira is different from the human body. One should know about the divinity of Lord's Janma. Further, his actions, Divyam Karma, the actions are also divine. He is Akarta, and still actions are done. We will see more of this later in the 5th chapter. His actions are mere Leela, a sport. His birth is divine. And that is only for, as he said, we read just now, Paritranaya Sadhuna, Vinashaya cha Dushkritam, and Dharma Samsthapanarthaya. That is the purpose of his avatara. So the one, Yahaveti, who knows, who really knows, understands the Lord, Tattvataha, in his true nature. Once you understand it in this way, what happens to that Tattvavit, that knower of Brahman or of Bhagavan? Then Tyaktva Deham, giving up the body, dropping the body, means after death, Punarjanma na eti. He does not take up another body. He is not reborn. He attains liberation. So the knowledge of real Krishna will lead you to liberation. In Bhagavatam, you will see that the gopis initially worshipped Krishna as a beautiful person. The attraction was his sharira, adharam, maduram. Everything is maduram about that Bhagavan. All that is wonderful, bhakti is required. And because they had so much love for him, they were so happy when he appeared, when he was there amidst them. But then, when he was not there, they felt miserable when he disappeared. Later, the same gopis saw him as the inner self, consciousness of all bodies. This jnanam, this kind of a knowledge is called tattva jnana. And the one who has this kind of knowledge, saha mameti, he becomes one with me. He becomes one with me. This verse is actually a Mahavakya. Bhagavan is telling us, he's talking about this identity. Elsewhere in the other classes, we've been talking about Avantara Vakya and Mahavakya. Mahavakya talks about this identity. So this shloka talks about such an identity. Bhagavan is telling us Tattvamasi only. When Arjuna heard all this, in his mind, he was thinking, anyone really reached Bhagavan? And if so, how did they do it? So anticipating such a question, Bhagavan continues in the next verse. Beautiful verse, verse 10. Let us read. Vitaraga bhaya krodha, Vitaraga bhaya krodha, Manmaya mamupashritah, Manmaya mamupashritah, Bahavo jnana tapasa, Bahavo jnana tapasa, Puta madbhavaमागतः, Puta madbhavaमागतः, Vitaraga bhaya krodha, Manmaya mamupashritah, Bahavo jnana tapasa, Puta madbhavaमागतः. So Sri Krishna very clearly says in this verse, Bahavaha madbhavam agataha. Many people, countless people have become one with me. So many people have done that. They have become free from birth and death. How do they do that? So it is said here, Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodaha. They are free from. Vita means free from. What are they free from? Raga, attachment. Bhaya, fear. Krodha, anger. Free from attachment, fear, and anger. Manmayaha. They are totally into me. Manmaya. Mam upashritaha. Completely dependent on me. And jnana tapasa putaha. They have purified themselves to the penance of knowledge. Jnana tapas, penance of knowledge. Putaha, they have purified themselves. Let's see the details now. Realization of God has two stages. First is the realization of Saguna Sakara Ishwar. The Lord with attributes, Saguna and Sakara form. And next is the realization of Nirguna Nirakara Ishwar. The Lord without any gunas or form. This topic will be elaborated later from the 7th chapter onwards. Ishvara Swarupa, the second set of 6 chapters, talk about Ishvara Swarupa. So there is considerable elaboration in that section. So here it is just hinted. Even Saguna Sakara Ishvara we put in 2 stages. One is Eka Rupa Ishvara. appreciating the Lord in one form. It can be Sri Rama, Sri Krishna, Devi, Ganapati, what have you. This one particular form, Ekarup. It's very good, very useful for emotional support and your connection, your relationship to God. Then, as you expand your mind, expand it further, it becomes Vishwarupa Ishvara Bhakti. God's form as the whole universe, the entire universe. Vishwarupa, all forms are God. That requires a little bit more of mature mind. And we will see that in the 11th chapter, Vishwarupa Darshana. That also is talked about. So the expansion from Eka Rupa to Aneka Rupa, those are both Saguna Sakara, with gunas and form. The final stage is neither Eka Rupa nor Aneka Rupa, but Arupa. Arupa Ishvara. Nirguna Nirakara Ishvara. That Ishvara without any qualities, no gunas, no form. So everyone goes through these three stages. The stages that a seeker goes through is talked about in this verse. The first stage is Saguna Bhakti. And follow Karma Yoga by dedicating all your duties, your responsibilities, your actions to God and accepting all the results as Ishvara Prasada. This is the first stage. This is surrender to Saguna Ishvara, converting life itself as worship. And later on, we will see this, a beautiful mantra in the 9th chapter. Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yat jahoshi tadasiyat, yat tapashyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva mad arpanam. Whatever you do it for the Lord. By following such a karma yoga way of life, you will purify the mind. You will get rid of all unhealthy thoughts of the mind. So you will get yourself rid of raga, bhaya, krodha. Mind will become free. You will become fearless. Everything, little things you get angry now. So that will go away, all the negativities. Raga is attachment, and shift that attachment from the world to God. If you want to have some attachment, don't get attached to these worldly things, to worldly people around. Shift it. Be attached to God. Shift the world dependence to God dependence. I come to know more and more dependence on the world is only risky. Everything in this world is unreliable, insecure, fluid. Anything can happen anytime. Only the permanent security is God. So raga will be from world to Ishvara. The attachment, dependence, etc., shifted to God. And later I find out that that Bhagwan is not somewhere out there, but he is right here in one's own self. Thereafter, dependence on Bhagavan will be converted to self-dependence because they two are identical. I discover Bhagavan as the very self. Then raga, the attachment, will go away. Raga goes away, bhaya goes away. Fear is directly proportional to attachment. If a child is a few minutes late coming back from school, sin immediately. Oh, what happened? When attachment goes away, fear goes away. When desire goes away, anger goes away. Desire obstructed is anger. Then one becomes manmaya. Manmaya means obsessed with the thought of me. So we say money-minded. When you say somebody is money-minded, means what? His mind is always in money. How to make money, how to increase it, how to safeguard. All money, money, money. So instead of that, Bhagavan says, make manmaya. Let your mind be obsessed with me. God obsessed, God minded. So that is indicated by the word manmaya, Ishwaramaya. We call a person money minded, power hungry, and all that we say. Similarly, when one is obsessed with me, Sri Krishna, he calls him Manmaya, God minded. God minded. Here, these people have discovered Godhood as their earning primary goal. You should remember when we talk about God as the goal from the Vedantic angle, Godhood is nothing but our own higher nature, our own superior nature, our own healthy nature. So when scriptures say you have attained Godhood, it means you have attained your fullest growth. So Vedanta presents Godhood as an external goal, but ultimately it is my own secure self, healthy self, full self, contented self. This is symbolized as God. So Manmaya means he is so tired of his own being sick in the form of raga, dvesha, kama, krodha. He wants to convert that sick mind into a mind of compassion, mind of love, mind of security. This inner conversion is called attainment of Godhood. We're not going to go meet God physically. We are going to discover our fullest potential. Become clear as we study. So, manmaya. So, first they are obsessed with moksha as purushartha, and they know that this is not an easy task. Many obstacles are there. So, for all noble pursuits, the first thing that comes is an obstacle. They know that. Not just one, but one after the another comes. You know the story of churning the Milky Ocean. So many obstacles came up, and each stage they needed help from Bhagwan. My effort is a must, but that alone is not enough. It should be supported by Ishvara Anugraha, grace of the Lord, blessings from the Lord. And that is indicated by the word Mam Upashritah, taking refuge in me, surrendering to me and taking my support. So, such people do whatever they do, surrendering themselves to Bhagavan. There is determination, there is appropriate use of free will. Manmaya is our free will. Mam Upashrita corresponds to Ishvara Anugraha. Once these two are there, I'm ready for the journey. And what is the route? The direction is Vitaraga Bhayakrodhaha. You must learn how to handle these weaknesses, the form of attachment, fear, anger, etc. World and things, beings in the world, they are not source of my problems. So all dependence on them and trying to manipulate them is a futile exercise. Problem is with me. That attachment has to be managed. Convert all desires into non-binding desires. Then come bhayakrodha, fear due to attachment, Obstructed anger, obstructed desire is anger. First stage is to have Saguna Bhakti and follow Karma Yoga by dedicating all your duties to the Lord. How to handle all these negativities? Either by wisdom or devotion, surrender to the Lord. Wisdom is knowing that I can only contribute to the future events through my self-effort, but I can never control them. So accept the results as they come. Alternately, by surrendering, oh Lord, future is not under my control, so give me strength to face the inevitable. An intelligent person is one who is ready, prepared for the inevitable. You take the help of the Lord in this process. Rely on yourself or rely on God through surrender. You have to handle the problem of intense attachment, fear, and anger. The one who has mastered all that is indicated as Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha. It's a pure mind. An impure mind is a slave to attachment, fear, and anger. A wise mind may not be totally free from them, but is a master of all such negative emotions. So this is the first stage of sadhana attained through Karma Yoga. Once the mind is purified, the next stage is to work for that knowledge. Knowledge does not happen just like that. You can gain knowledge only by consistent effort. And you have to do that for a length of time. So Bhagavan calls this Jnana tapas. So this is also a penance. It's also a tapas, austerity. So even to come to this Gita class every week, it's not a joke. It's not that easy, I know. A consistent effort. That is called Jnana tapas. Another word for this is Jnana Yoga. By that practice, Puta, these people have purified themselves completely. So first step of managing attachment, fear, and anger is partial purification. You have to remove the basic fundamental impurity of ignorance of the self. So Bhagavan says, by the practice of Jnana Yoga, they rid themselves of the finer layer of impurity. For example, before you get that 24 karat pure gold, first you start mining the ore. Little bit of gold will be there and tons of dirt and everything will be there. So many purification steps are involved. First is the grossest purification, like washing the ore to remove all the dirt. Finally, it goes to the gold refinery where it is subject to very high temperatures by which all other metals, there may be other impurities, they all melt, lower melting point, keep on hitting it. And finally, you're left with pure gold. In the same way, we have to get rid of 3 layers of impurity. They are Mala, Vikshepa, and Avarana. Mala is the grossest likes and dislikes. Vikshepa is a wandering mind, little subtler. And self-ignorance, Avarana, that's the subtlest. So we have to use 3 processes to remove the 3 types of impurities. Karma Yoga removes Mala, Upasana removes Vikshepa, and Jnana Yoga removes Avarana. Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, Jnana Yoga. All these three processes will have to be done step by step. Therefore, he says, Bahavaha Jnana Tapasa Putaha. Many people have purified themselves totally by finally practicing Jnana Yoga. By removing all the impurities, they have found Madbhavam Agataha. They did not reach God, they did not meet God, they discovered that I minus impurities is God. Initially, a person does not know that. So we tell him God is there, He is great, worship Him, serve Him, then you can reach Him, and all that. We say it is presented as a physical event of union. But it's not so. It's a figurative way of one's self-discovery. When I remove all my weaknesses and ignorance, I know I am what I have been seeking all along. So Bhagavan says, Madbhavam agataha, they all attain my nature. They did not reach me, they attained my nature. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That's what they have discovered. That Brahma, I am. They gained the nature of fullness, nature of security. Arjuna, you also have to go through these steps. Many have done, and so can you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.